Brian Boldon is a visual artist, a sculptor, my collaborator, and my husband.
Amy Baur is a visual artist, photographer, and digital artist. My business partner, my artistic collaborator, and my spouse.
When we collaborate, we have different processes, I think, but in the end, we have sort of the same vision. And so we're really this great team. The process that Brian and I do to make artwork is kind of unusual. Essentially, we take any digital image, mainly photographic, and I manipulate that in Photoshop. And then it's sent to a printer that's been refurbished with glaze inside, so there's no longer any toner.
Instead of having ink in it, it has ground up glass and pigments in it. Take a look. Yeah. That's printed onto a piece of water slide transfer paper. And then that is able to come out of the machine and be soaked in water and slid onto the surface of ceramics and glass, and then permanently fused in the kiln.
And that's why it is so permanent, because it's not ink, it's glaze, so it can't be scratched or UV light doesn't hurt it. So this process is not only really useful for large-scale public work that we do, but we also use it in our own private studio work.
My work is really installation-based work. It's about creating environments and spaces that one can move through and move around. It sort of has evolved into trying to create spaces that challenge the idea of linear perspective. It's sort of influenced by virtual reality environments and digital space where there's no up and down. There's really no beginning and no end. It's not really about just creating a pure fiction, and it's not about fantasy, and it's not about creating some sort of set design. It's much more about creating a sensibility that maybe the references that you're using to describe what you're seeing are not the thing to be focused on, but you tap into some sensibility that goes beyond just what it looks like. I really like creating a situation that's not easily decipherable, and finding something in the work that just kind of insists a different take, a different perspective. There's a piece I have, it's called 3D Chair, and it's a glass construction, and I took a chair and I hung it from a cable, and I spun it and I photographed it while it was spinning. And I took 6 stills out of the rotation and put it at right angles to one another. And it became completely believable that there was an object inside of this glass construction. It was a very transformational piece for me because it played off that exact sensation that we have about our relationship with physical space and our environment. Once you understand what a chair is, do you really ever think about the chair? You infer that you know what chairs are and you no longer look at them. I just insisted upon making it prismatic. We are biologically virtual beings, and we spend most of our time not in the present. I'm just an artist, but I've done enough research to know that neuroscience is proving a lot of this now. And unless you hit your thumb with a hammer and you go, that really hurts, it's really hard to be in the moment. Well, I think that's a huge opportunity there as a maker, as an artist, because you're the person that's intervening, you're the person that's saying, I care enough about this idea that I'm going to act on this, I'm going to build this, I want to share this idea.
I think I showed some straight ones in the very beginning, but honestly, I never really have been interested in just a photograph. I love when other people do it, but I want to create not a factual world. I want to create images that are to the right and left, maybe, of fact. I've always been really fascinated with the idea of having a physicality in the imagery. So I will spend a long time going through my collections or looking at junk shops for just the right bent nail or rusted lid of something. And I like that it has a history. I like to find something that maybe somebody used, so utilitarian, and something found. This recent work, open spaces. It's kind of a contradiction in terms, and I like that because what I think I'm doing is I'm containing, in a sense, a landscape. And so I think these are super pined down, open, sparse, distilled landscapes. I am using photographs that I've taken and then using the decal process, fuse that to glass. Some of the glass I've curved in the kiln, like slumped, so it actually creates a curve. The exterior of the work is laminated birch, and it's curved as well. And then I very carefully glue this transparent, almost vellum-like paper onto it. And as I work, that's become a big part of it, where I would like the sort of overlapping of that paper, creating maybe another very liminal, suggested hill or horizon line. And then I really like this idea of combining found objects. They actually physically raised the work. And I like that idea that air can move between the open spaces and the ground. But also, I think that they are a marker of our external world. So here I am creating these imagined spaces. You know, I'll use a hinge to connect two pieces of glass together, or I'll raise them with these things. I think it's the one place where somebody looking at the work could say, oh, I recognize that. I'm really asking for just a moment where the viewer would look at this work and really look. So I'm hoping that there's a sense of recognition and maybe pause, reflection.
When we started working across mediums and exploring two-dimensional imagery that's captured by cameras and physical materials like ceramics and glass, we thought it would be a really interesting thing to try out some experimental ideas. And so we began working together 8 years ago. And it's been really interesting where we have gone with these kind of collaborations. This is a project that's going to the Ralph Carr Justice Center in Denver, Colorado. It's a piece that fits in between the appellate court and the Supreme Court and the Grand Corridor, and it's about 120 feet long. We bring all of our cameras and we try to get a sense of the location and try to make something that's really, really local, really about that particular site. Instead of shooting the building, we'll go and we'll shoot the reflections of all the buildings, and we'll shoot like the details of the buildings, and we'll try to create a sense of place and aspects of what it feels like to be in that city. So we're generating a kind of a visual archive of imagery that we bring back.
And then I work very long hours in front of the computer, pushing, melding, and working these together in Photoshop. Then I print them out, and then it's Brian's job to decal every one of them and then fire them.
Each tile is a 10 by 16. It's about 1,250 square feet. It's about 680 tiles. And I'm doing about 16 to 32 square feet a day. So this has been, 4 months worth of work, not full time. Conceptually, it's kind of pure and simple. I mean, we use architectural materials and we encode it with electronic imagery. We work really hard to integrate and make it kind of feel like the architecture and the artwork are really just reacting to one another. You really don't get that opportunity as a fine artist to impact 130 feet of space to this level. And in the public art realm, you really have that opportunity. And over time now, we've done, I think, 17 projects together. The experience level has gotten up to the point now where we can really understand space and understand the sort of dynamics of how to impact the space, and it's really exciting to actually realize that.
Minnesota Original is made possible by the State Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.